7 things that were keeping me stuck after a breakup that I didn't realize at the time were keeping me stuck. And I'll let you know what I learned to do instead. Number 1, I tried to shift into being just friends too soon. This other person was important to me, and I wanted to maintain some sort of friendship, something, but deep down, I was still hoping we'd reconnect. I was waiting for them to have some realization that we should be together while I pretended to just be their friend. You see, every text I got from them gave me a flicker of hope that, no, they still felt this desire to be together. And I clung on to that. If we hung out just the 2 of us going to the movies or going out to dinner, I didn't want to hear about new people they met at work, people that they were in a platonic relationship with, because I was jealous, because I still wanted to be in a relationship with them. I told myself this was part of closure, this was healing, but I was really just clinging on to them. I confused contact for connection. I wasn't available to be their friend at that point, because I wanted something more. It's the same thing with situationships. To go from a very strong romantic relationship to being in a situationship is confusing. What helped? Going no contact. By going no contact first, I was able to reclaim my own life, my own purpose, and if the friendship was really going to happen, if we could maintain a friendship, it would wait till after I had fully healed. Okay, mistake number 2. I checked their social media every single day. In some situations, I would count up how many followers they had. So if the follower count increased, I would get anxious. Oh, did they connect with someone new? I'd tell myself, oh, I'm just going to check 2 times today, and then wind up checking 3, 4, 5 times. I'd read every single post trying to figure out where they were at, what they were thinking. But social media isn't really an exact window into someone's life. It just left me confused. I did think it was harmless. I thought it was no big deal. I'm just kind of checking in. But it kept my heartbreak alive. It was really a little torturous because every picture I'd want to see them sad. No one's going to post a picture of them sad. Or I'd wonder who was standing next to them. And there was no answer there. So it was just self-inflicted worry and sadness. Every new photo I'd think about and spiral about for hours. What helped here? Muting them, blocking them, archiving the photos that are on your phone that just pop up like a year ago today this happened. Because it would reopen old wounds. I wasn't bitter, I wasn't angry, but I needed space to be free, to rebuild. And having all their social media in my face all the time wasn't helping. Number 3, I would replay old conversations, old arguments, old misunderstandings in my head, on a loop, wondering where did everything go wrong? What was misunderstood? What could I have done differently? What could I have done to make this relationship work? But I can't fix what's behind me. However, that's what I really wanted to do. So I'd reread the text chain. I'd think about what could have been misconstrued. And then I'd want to contact them because I'd want to kind of go over it to see if I could fix things. But the relationship was dead. There was nothing to be done. And going over and over it in my head just made me blame myself more, made me anxious, made me confused, and made me want to contact them. And they were no longer available, so it helped. I had to accept that closure wasn't going to be perfect understanding between the 2 of us. I had to accept that I didn't want the relationship to be over, but it was. Radical acceptance. I had to accept this wasn't what I wanted, but this is what I had. I had to decide to let it go. Number 4, the good times became romanticized. I would look back on the past and only see the fun we had together, vacations we went on, when things were really going well. And I would highlight those in my head as proof that we were meant to be together. And in my head, I edited out all the problems, all the arguments, all the blocks that were in the way, and just looked at the best moments. I remembered the chemistry, the highs, the banter, the fun, but I forgot about the time when my needs weren't being met, when I felt unsure, when I felt anxious, when the other person wasn't there for me. And my mind turned the relationship and turned them into someone they weren't. I put them on a pedestal and wanted them back, but they were never that person to begin with. I had built them up in my head into more than they were. What helped here? Well, it was writing down every moment that I felt ignored, belittled, treated poorly, when I was let down, when I felt abandoned. I had to remind myself that things weren't perfect. I had to remind myself of the bad times, which wasn't easy because you like to look at the good times. You want to remember the good things. But after a breakup, if you really find yourself clinging on to the memory of this other person, you have to be straight up with yourself and remind yourself of what wasn't working, what made the relationship impossible. You need to remember so you have the full picture in your head. and that can make it easier to move on. Mistake number 5, I vent talked to everyone. I went over the breakup with everyone, talking about it over and over and over. How I was feeling that day, what memories I had, what I missed, what I was still angry about. I thought I was processing, I thought I was leaning on my friends, but I was really just keeping the relationship alive through conversation. And my poor friends, every conversation, every text message circled back to my pain, and it kept that pain alive for me. I did need to feel heard, I did need to process, but I wasn't really moving forward because I was talking about it all the time. My poor friends were exhausted and I was stuck. What helped? I started just talking to one person, my therapist. I also have other clients who talk to one trusted friend, or they journal one time a day. They have one container that they throw all their thoughts, all their feelings, all their memories in. And then after they get that all out, they move on, and not every conversation is about their ex. So a therapist, a life coach, a breakup coach, a trusted friend or family member can be invaluable. And if you don't have that, write it down. Mistake number 6, I tried to prove that I was fine. Everything's great. I moved on, I'm fine. Nothing bothers me. I was busy. I threw myself into work. I worked all the time. And then I'd socialize, go out, see my friends. I was over-functioning. I thought if I looked okay, if I showed up and went through the motions, I'd be okay. But I was just numbing. That grief was right out there waiting for me. For when things got quiet, when I started to go to sleep, it was still there. I'd have trouble sleeping because the memories would come up and the sadness would engulf me. And what helped? Letting myself cry, taking off this mask of busyness, trying to be really real with someone. Again, a therapist, a breakup coach, a friend, a family member. I let someone else see my hurt. And here I didn't overvent. I talked to one trusted person, and that did help me to move on. And lastly, mistake number 7, I held on to the fantasy of maybe. Maybe they'll come back, maybe they'll change, maybe they went to therapy. Maybe next month everything will be different. Maybe we just need time. I would stay in that place, that maybe space, much longer than I needed to. I would go to psychics and try to figure out what was going to happen in the future. Maybe we could be together. Maybe it would all work out. I lived in this hypothetical reality, not the real reality. I'd read into small signs like them liking one of my posts, or a brief text asking for something back, or a report from a mutual friend telling me this fantasy kept me from creating a new life. Kept me from moving on and evolving. I was in a waiting space and they were never coming back. Even if they were going to return, I still needed to evolve so I could show up as a different version of myself so the connection wouldn't just fall apart again. It's beneficial for both people to evolve and grow. If they are going to reunite, they don't want to reunite as the same people because it didn't work that way the first time. So what helped was saying goodbye to this maybe version of them I had in my head. This person that I was hoping they would evolve into, but I had no real proof that they were even working towards. I had to grieve and let go of hope. Toxic hope that would have kept me stuck. I didn't actually miss our relationship or miss them. I missed the potential that I saw in us. And I had to let that go. And that was a challenge. If you saw yourself in any of these mistakes, please know, so did I. We've all made mistakes like this. And these errors don't make you weak, they make you human. But once I saw them, I could stop making them. I could approach things differently. I could reach out for help. I could make a complete shift. And that's when the healing really began. If you want a printable version of these 7 mistakes and what to do instead, download the free checklist below. And if you're still checking their social media, or you're looking for signs, or waiting for a change, the next video is going to be a must, because we're going to talk about what that behavior really means. And we're going to talk about how to stop without feeling like you're abandoning them in some way, or doing something rude or uncaring. I'm a licensed therapist with over 20 years of experience helping people with divorce and breakup recovery. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What mistakes have you made when you were recovering from a breakup?